Hey everyone, I hope you're having a great start of your week. My name is Garrett McLaughlin. The exercise of this week is going to be twofold. We're going to look at great toe range of motion, and specifically extension and abduction. So these two ranges of motion are super important for just overall function of the foot. We want great toe extension. If you see at the end of that gait cycle, right, walking, running, we need to actively extend into the big toe to load some of these muscles in the foot to then push off, right? A lot of people are limited in great toe extension. We need that just to get through, again, naturally throughout that gait cycle. The other one is going to be abduction. So abduction is, if we think of a lot of shoes, right? A lot of shoes these days, if we go to the extreme, talk about women with high heels. We see this men with dress shoes. We see this more pointed toe box, right? The shoes are tending to pull us into this position. We're creating more of a narrow forefoot here and toe. So we want to be able to get more splay of these toes. We want to lengthen out, get space between the NTP joints, the metatarsal ligament. We want more space through that because that just helps create a more healthy functioning foot. So we're going to actually show how to work on big toe abduction. Just a simple mobility drill, how to get that toe spread away. Obviously, this is something that we could do on all toes, but we're gonna focus on the big toe by itself today. So if we start with great toe extension, like I mentioned before, toe extension is simply extending the toe into that position. For normal range of motion of the big toe, we want about 65 degrees. So if we were just looking at range of motion here, and we lifted that toe up, again, trying to keep the small toes down, I think 90 degrees is straight up, 45 degrees is about halfway. We need to be able to get into about 65 degrees of extension. That's healthy range of motion at the big toe. A lot of people are limited and don't have access to that amount. So all we're gonna do right here is we're just gonna work on, first and foremost, we wanna respect alignment of the toe. If you're someone that has a history, what's called hallux valgus, and we have the toe collapse inward, you have bunions, we need to work on establishing that position first, where the big toe is aligned with the metatarsal. So if you just felt down along the metatarsal right here from some of these small bones in the foot and the ankle, and you just go down, we want the toe to be as aligned with that as possible. So we're gonna align that first, okay? That's the position we wanna get into to work on extension. If not, we're working on extension when that toe's out of alignment, which again, it's not going to say it's the worst thing in the world, but we want to restore alignment, improve extension, and really respect just the overall function of that joint. So what I'll do from here is I'm going to hold, let me see, one hand here is going to hold just above the joint, right at the outside of that joint right there. I'm going to align the toe. I'm just simply going to work on extension. So I'm going to comfortably extend that big toe up, and I'm going to let it kind of come back down to the ground. Very simple exercise, working on big toe range of motion, right? We're always focusing on stretching the calf, stretching the hip, stretching the quads, hamstrings, all of those. And how often are we actually working on a range of motion of our toes? So getting into that position, working on extension, and just to see that from the side. Doing anywhere from 10 to 20 repetitions, if possible. Doing this multiple times a day would be helpful as well. But I'm going to show you just so you can see here. I'm going to support right at the joint, make sure I'm in an aligned position first. And then I'm just going to work on extending that big toe. You can see the ball of the foot's down. I'm not just extending and pulling everything off the ground. That will happen if you're really restricted here. But keep that big foot down and stable. Work on extending the big toe, comfortably moving through its range of motion. I feel a little stretch and lengthening through the arch right there. You know, I'm typically someone that doesn't have a lot of problem in terms of toe motion. But just working on getting more extension throughout that toe. Should go. You can also, as you pull that toe up, you can actively start to fire some of these muscles in the front of the shin, front of the foot, to pull and assist you in that position, to hold that position and then come back down. It's always good to add in any type of mobility drill, range of motion drill, to add an active component, but just working through that range of motion to build extension. Now, next thing I like to do, once we start to restore extension to a better degree, is work on abduction. So a second ago, I showed you how to get that toe to neutral, right? Proper alignment with that metatarsal. Now we want to work on, can we get that toe further out to the side, right? The toe is not often moving into that position, but from a muscular standpoint, if we're firing some of these muscles that stabilize and position the big toe, abductor hallucis, flexor hallucis. Those are going to help actually abduct and pull that big toe out to the side. When that big toe is just consistently stuck in that position, it's really hard for those muscles to work. And those muscles, those two muscles, go under the big toe on this medial side of the big toe that actually help stabilize the toe and the arch itself. So if you're someone that consistently collapses into the arch, definitely considering how well are you, how much range of motion do you have with the big toe? If you don't have enough range of motion and you're stuck in a valgus position, that toe is really crossed over, that could be one reason. You might have to restore range of motion first before going after stability second. Or you might just need to strengthen these muscles, right? Strengthen and work on stability. Teach them how to fire. How do I gauge these muscles to stabilize that toe and the arch? Because that will better position the foot in relation to the ground. So all I'm going to do here, same thing, supporting at the arch, and now I'm going to work on getting that toe out. I'm not forcing, I'm just working on moving that toe past that neutral alignment with the metatarsal, and then I can come back. Pulling that toe out. I like to even push into the ground for a second to hold it in that position and let it come back. You can see just in terms of motion, right? It's so easy for me to push my toe across, right? Shoes have been pushing me in that position for years. Cleats, hockey skates, right? All of these things have been pushing me in an inward position. It's a little bit more restricted. You can already feel as I start to pull that out, more restriction as you get that toe out there. Again, we want to be able to get that toe to be able to comfortably move inward and outward with ease, never forcing. It's just gentle. It's not like we're trying to really pull that toe out all the way out to here. It's just a comfortable motion as we pull that toe out, because in the future, working on splaying the toes, actively controlling and spreading those things out, that will be one of the next steps here in terms of just overall foot and toe dexterity. So those are the exercises of the week. A little bit different here, right? I want you to get down to the floor, check these out. Do you have enough extension? Can you abduct that big toe? Does it get stuck at neutral, or is it in that, again, valgus position? Is that toe really crossed over or get over or under your other toes, right? What is the extent of your toe position, alignment, and mobility? But then work on these drills. We need these. We need to maintain these as much as possible. You'll be surprised here, again, as we get older and we start talking about, again, staying active, walking, running, playing sports, fall prevention as we get older. A lot of the stability is going to come from the foot and the toes. So if we can preserve or improve that as much as possible now, that will only set us up for success down the road. So that's it. Those are the exercises of the week. We have passive great toe extension, passive great toe abduction. Any questions, comment below, give me feedback, yell at me in the comment section there. I hope you enjoyed this video and have a great rest of your week. Thank you, everyone.